just couldn't imagine my life not having sports and being involved. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life than coaching.
Welcome into another great week, another great conversation. I have a Division II coaching legend with me here from Minnesota State Moorhead, Karla Nelson. Over 426 wins and counting, I should say, Coach. Impressive numbers there. But the first question I want to ask you, though, this is probably the most important one, is as a Vikings fan, are you happy that Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl this year?
Actually, I am. He's really had to pay his dues, and he's really had to believe in himself, because it doesn't seem like anybody else really believes in him wholeheartedly. So yeah, I mean, it was and I mean, he seems like a good guy, so yes, I was happy for him.
26 seasons there in Moorhead. What's the key to consistency for you?
I think the key to consistency is, first of all, a consistent staff. You have to have loyal people around you who believe in what you believe in. And, I think that's first and foremost. And then just trying to recruit the best area kids that you can find, and that come in and do well academically and athletically.
The 21 straight winning seasons for you. Is that the message? Is that the recruiting pitch that you get to a lot of the players that you talk to?
Well, I mean, I don't talk about that at all. I'm assuming it's on some sort of presentation that I don't really take part in. But again, I think it's just a testament to always having a pretty consistent staff, and then I think recruiting kids that really fit into your philosophy of being a good student athlete, and one that represents MSU Moorhead to the best of their ability.
When I first met you, I saw you coaching on the sidelines, and I'm like, wow, she's very, very intense. I don't know if I want to approach her and say hello, but you are one of the nicest people off the floor. How do you find that balance of like the right amount of intensity versus like just being the person that you are?
Well, I think sometimes that's a hard balance for me, right? People judge me a lot of times by that hour and a half that they see me on the sideline, and I would say that I'm intense but very competitive, and I care about my players. But I think the most important thing is that basketball coaching is what I do. It's not who I am. So I would hope that when you really get to know me, perception doesn't always give you the full allotment of information that you need to judge somebody by. I think there's a lot more to me than just basketball.
Hey, when you ask your players about you, they say you're a player's coach. They care a lot about you. You said it yourself there. When it comes to, mental health is such a big thing now with athletes. How do you go about that aspect of things now with how important mental health is?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is, to address it, to talk about it, because it doesn't, mental health is no different than, you having a cold or flu, or, whatever it is. I don't think it's anything to be embarrassed about. I think that we have resources that can help people. And certainly, if I feel like a student athlete comes to me and it is having some issues, let's address it, and let's take care of it, and let's get you to the point where you feel better and can be productive and happy. That's really the most important thing. But you got to talk about it. It's not anything to be embarrassed about.
When it comes to NIL and how things have changed in college sports and everything, how is the Division II level? How have you seen it change with NIL coming to the forefront of things?
NIL at Division II isn't huge. I mean, it's certainly there. At MSU Moorhead, that's there. It's a rarity to get any sort of NIL deal. There are some D2 schools that have a little bit more funding for that, but it really hasn't impacted us to a great extent. And hopefully it won't. I would like to see Division II stay as pure as it can be and be scholarship based and athletic talent based and academic based, not all the extra, not all the other fluff. But I don't know where Division II is going to land. My guess is, it's going to continue to change. The landscape will change, and uh, if young athletes or athletes can benefit somehow from it, I'm not against it. But I'm so old school. I like that the scholarship was the big deal. Now it's all the extra stuff that's the big deal.
How has that made you change things, knowing that the landscape has changed a little bit?
I really haven't changed. I think if it's something that you want as a student athlete, and um, then go ahead and pursue it. It's things that we can't offer, and then we'll just move on. You know, we're still we still look at, what you can do for us athletically with an athletic scholarship. We look at what you can qualify for academically with academic money, and then anything else extra, we'll certainly try to get it for you as far as grants and things. But, right now, Division II, I think for the most part is still that way. You can get those small deals, right, where you can represent like a car wash or a grocery store, or like Top Golf or whatever. But right now, I think it really um, hasn't benefited too many Division II programs yet.
How would you define your coaching style?
My coaching style is, I'm very direct. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm very honest to a point where, maybe I'm too honest, too blunt, but yet I'd rather be that way than lie to my players. I'm not going to do that. I think that, I try to use sport to teach life lessons. I talk about it a lot, especially on Mondays in the team room when we meet for film. Just all the life lessons that are being learned that they don't even realize yet, that one day they're going to look back and go, what, I got through that hard time, or I was able to accomplish this with our team and use that in their profession. So in one, some way, shape, or form. And but yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you were a great player in your own right, playing in high school and college. How did you
Yeah.
use your player qualities as a coach?
Well, Nick, I'm a lot older than this generation, so they think I probably came in on a horse and buggy, right? So it's but I still think basketball is basketball. I still think fundamentals are fundamentals. Still think work ethic is work ethic, and I was always one that put in the time. I was very dedicated. Tried to have really good habits. Tried to approach practice with a competitive spirit. I was very no nonsense as a player, and I'm still very no nonsense as a coach. I think you come in and you work hard, and um, you you reap what you sow, right? If you come in and you do the work and you build those habits, it's hard to take someone's confidence from them.
26 years as head coach, 32 there at the school. What
Yeah.
what keeps you going?
I think that the players, you build some special bonds with players, and you like to see them be successful. And I think I look at all of our alums and what they're doing today, and when we come back and get together, I hear how basketball and how Dragon women's basketball has impacted their lives. And I realize that I have a vehicle to make an impact on people, and I certainly want to do that. So that's kind of what keeps me going. And there's no question I'm winding down. um, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to coach, but I've certainly enjoyed every second of it, all the highs and lows.
How much do your former players keep in touch with you?
I talk to a lot of them a lot of the time. I would say that some I probably touch base with more, but some maybe once a year. But it seems like when we do get together or do talk, and we pick up right where we left off. So those relationships are gonna last for a lifetime.
What have some of the players, want to talk to you about? Just staying in touch, or is it like advice, or what do they want to hear from you?
Well, I mean, some is just to say hi. Some is coming back for alumni events. Um, I have alumni that just lost her brother. So I reached out there, and one's mother is had some major surgery, so I reached out there, and I certainly want to just be supportive as these guys are going through maybe some tough times, but maybe celebrate some of the promotions, raises, having babies, getting married, um, new job, all those things, right? So I love to hear about those things, and um, I think it's the little things that matter the most. It's not always the big things.
How do you redirect if things are not going well to make it better?
Well, I think I got to look at myself first and foremost. Being a leader, I'm not the proverbial squirrel in the middle of the road, and I don't wait to get hit by a car. Um, I'm an eagle by nature, so I'm very aggressive, and sometimes that doesn't bode well. So I have to reevaluate myself and take responsibility, and always think, could I have done something better? And just admit to that, and move on, but not be afraid of saying, I could have done better. I made a mistake, or, um, just whatever it is, just taking responsibility, and refocusing.
How did you come up with that mindset? Uh, like, where did that start for you?
I don't know. I think it's just, I've developed an attitude where you have to be willing to be sometimes very unpopular, right? I mean, I think most coaches at some point are unpopular. And I think you also have to be able to admit when you don't do a good enough job, and not fear that. And I don't fear that. I think I recognize that. And I'm just not afraid of that. I think when you're in a position to make tough decisions, are they all going to be the best or the right ones? No, no, no. But I think you have to make a decision, and then you have to live with it, and live and learn, right? If was it the best decision, admit it and learn from it, move on.
What's the decision making process when you're trying to figure that out?
Sometimes you just have to go with your gut, right? Like a lot of times I just listen to my gut. Be aware of your surroundings and understand what your surroundings look like. Um, but most of the time it's, in coaching, it's a funny profession. You're surrounded by a lot of people, but yet it is a very lonely profession, because you can't share a lot of things with people, because they will always use it against you or want to see you fail. Very seldom do you meet people that really want to help you be successful at coaching, because they always want to beat you. And so a lot of times you have to keep your circle small, and really just rely on all your experiences, and not be afraid. You just can't be afraid to fail. And if you do, you have to pick yourself up and move on. I don't know of any leader in an organization, in the country, in coaching. It doesn't matter where you're the leader of or who you're the leader of. You're going to fail, and it's okay, because it'll make you better.
You talked about small circle and you said longevity with the staff and everything is what's
Yeah.
helping you. What's the key to having and working with your staff and keeping that staff together?
Well, I mean, I've Allison Swenson's been with me for a long time. She played for me. Um, she knows me pretty well, and I think she is truly a dragon inside and out, because she played here, right? So you don't have to worry about the loyalty part. She's not a yes person. She's going to tell me what she thinks. She's very competitive, and she's going to hold my feet to the flames, and I appreciate that. Sometimes it gets a little annoying, especially when I want someone to say, yes, or someone to banter with a little bit, just as a stress release. But you have to pick the right people. There's no question, you have to pick the right people, and that's in any organization. It doesn't matter if it's sports or business or whatever it is.
What was the appeal for you for coaching? Because you mentioned like, yeah, it could be silent sometimes. What brought you to the profession?
Well, I mean, I've always loved sports. It's funny because people will say athletes, they're catered to and blah, blah, blah. I always felt like thank God that I love basketball. Thank God I love sports because it actually made me do my homework, go to class in college. Because if you don't get the grades, you can't play. And otherwise, I probably wouldn't have went to college. Because I could have cared less about school. So I'm so grateful that I had sports. I love sports, and the love for playing just led me to the next step, which was coaching it. And I started at the ground level. I mean, I coached a lot of camps. I started with seventh grade and worked my way up to varsity. And then from there, I went to college and was a GA and just progressed from there. But I just couldn't imagine my life not having sports and being involved. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life than coaching.
What made young Karla pick up a basketball?
I just love to play. I love to play everything, right? I loved playing, and um, I just love the feel of the ball in my hand. I love playing softball. I love playing golf and tennis, and um, I just love the movements, right? And I was good at it, and it gave me confidence, and um, that's why I'm here today because of sports. Because it certainly isn't because I'm I'm the brightest bulb on the tree, because that's not the case. I hated school, right? I hate reading. I hated studying. I hated taking tests, but I love to play. And the only way I could play is, by doing those things. So yeah, I just love the way sports made me feel.
Did you ever picture playing at the level you did in college?
Not initially. I never even thought about it much. And then I started getting recruited in about 10th grade. I think I got my first letter from a community college out of Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And I remember getting that letter, and then that kind of just spurred the thought process. And, then I started to think, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then I made some visits, and I just fell in love with the University of North Dakota, and couldn't imagine myself going anyplace else.
You mentioned playing a lot of golf. I know you've taken some golf trips. I see
Yep.
it on your Facebook and everything. What's the coolest course you played?
Well, I mean, the one that everybody knows is the home of golf. I played St.
Oh
Andrews
yeah.
last summer. I've actually played it twice. It's just so, uh, it's a feeling that there just is no other feeling in golf than playing that course. Um, and I would say Royal County Downs in Ireland was beautiful, but there are beautiful courses in the States too, but golfed a lot overseas, and went with some really good friends, and that, was the thing for us to do. And as we get older, that's probably winding down too, but just got to meet a lot of people, got to see a lot of things, and it's all because of golf.
You took up golf as a hobby?
Yeah, I'm not very good, but I mean, the nice thing about when we go golf is we don't care about the score. We just care about the experience that we're having together.
That's awesome, and it's a special feeling for friends to have with friends too. What did
Yeah.
you see as the difference between like playing links golf in Scotland and Ireland versus playing here in the U.S.?
Well, of course, links, is, you got to rely on the rolls, right? Sometimes you don't know what's over a mound, and the gorse can be brutal, just like trees, right? Um, and their bunkers are tough, right?
Yeah.
You might need a hand wedge out of the bunker, but that would be, here in the States, probably, a little bit different grass. The grass there is it's almost like a plate. Um, and then of course trees over here, but you can get trees over there. But the nice thing about links is even if you like top a ball, you're still going to get a lot of roll. So that part I enjoy, that you can, chip and run it a little bit more than you can here.
How much do you try to play when the weather is good?
Um, you know, eh, I would say depending on, what's happening during the summer in basketball and things, a couple times a week. Last year I didn't golf as much after we got back from our trip. But, you know, I think it varies. Some summers I've golfed a lot. Last summer was probably the least I've golfed in probably 10, 15 years. So I'll try to get back out this summer.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is the last month of the season for you. Just
Yeah.
going forward here. Kind of what do you do as a coach? What's your focus here the last month when the important basketball is happening?
Well, right now we're trying to position ourselves to get into the NSIC tournament. We've struggled a little bit this year with injuries and some different things. And now we're about as healthy as we can be. So it's maybe just working to find that consistency. And we have 4 tough games to end the season here, and that's going to dictate, if we get into the tournament, and if we do, what seed we'll get. And then you just got to prepare for tournament time. So it's kind of winding down, but hopefully we have a few more games left.
As you know, I'm a Kansas alum, so tonight, as we record, I'll be watching KU play Arizona. What other coaches, or are there any coaches that you've ever taken anything from or watched or admire?
Yeah, Corey Close. I've really followed her at UCLA. I just love some of the things that she posts away from basketball, and then some of the stuff that they do in their practices. But mainly her philosophies away from the game. I used to really love Bill Self a lot.
Yes.
I still do. I mean, he's
Yeah.
gone away. He used to be a big high-low coach. Um, he doesn't run it as much anymore. He probably runs some aspects of it, but I used to love Bill, and then Tom Izzo, of course, because he's notorious for he's as crusty as I am sometimes on the court, and big rebounding guy. So I love that. Um, and then, but I think on the women's side, Corey Close right now is somebody that I really admire and like to listen to when she has some things to share.
Yeah, Corey's awesome, and
Yeah.
what she's doing in the Big Ten right now too. UCLA's one of the better teams. I mean, national championship probably favorite
Well,
to win right now. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they just, and that's such a tough league right now. I mean, it's night in and night out. It's about as tough as the SEC is, and
yeah.
uh, it's fun basketball. I think there's a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players. And it's going to be a dogfight, right? Only
Oh yeah.
only the strong will survive.
It'll be crazy to see how many teams actually get in from the Big Ten to the tournament. That'll be interesting to see going forward.
Well, I got to believe that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to probably dominate a lot of that. The seeds probably.
Oh yeah, and I am in Iowa, so I do have to ask: how much have you seen women's sports just blow up over these last couple of years, especially with Caitlin Clark?
Oh, a lot. And I think Jan Jensen has done a great job replacing Lisa Bluter at Iowa. Just replacing a legend is hard. And Iowa really has. I mean, they lost a key player, but a week or two ago to a knee injury, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to see how they do from that. But the Crooks kid from Iowa State.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Audie, they can say a lot of things about her. Maybe how her defense isn't very good. She cost them a little bit, but I'm telling you, when she posts you up, there isn't much hope. But yeah. I mean, I think uh, Kaylin Clark has done a lot for women's basketball, regardless of what you think of her. She gets you talking about it, and I think that's the key.
And now she's talking about it on TV now too.
Yes. Yes. So it's, I think the women's game is really in a good spot, and hopefully, with some of this parity and some new teams and some new faces, hopefully it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And, I really do think that there's a fan base out there that loves to watch it because they can relate to it, because women's basketball actually has to run a lot of stuff, a lot of sets, and they play a pure game. There's no dunking. And, so, I mean, you really are playing the percentages in women's basketball.
I certainly enjoyed watching your teams with my time in the Fargo Moorhead area. We always had fun with the Dragons, a
Yep.
nickname too. That's a great nickname. There's not a whole lot of teams with Dragons out there.
No, there's Drexel in us. So it's a mascot that um, is, stand the test of time, right? It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, we used to say like Puff the Magic Dragon, like
Okay. All right. I'm not sure
so,
if that's a good thing, Nick, or a bad thing, but Nowadays, you don't know because of what's legalized. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
we
Okay,
would just have fun with it on TV. You know, we were having a good time.
okay, all right.
But I appreciate you, Coach, for joining me here on Cousins Conversations, hanging out, talking about coaching.
You're awesome, Nick, and I miss seeing you around here. So
Hey,
uh,
I miss you too. I miss you too.
yeah, I appreciate the time, and thanks for staying connected.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love seeing all your stuff on social media.
Okay, good. I love following you too, so that's fun.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.